Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. Each week, my guest and I discuss one pivotal moment in their life, what they learned from it, and their words of wisdom. Managing the emotional toll of a tough divorce with 3 young children led today's guest to turn to triathlons to cope. Then, a horrific bicycle accident changed everything. A traumatic head injury forced her to stop, slow down, and focus on one thing at a time. Suddenly, every aspect of her life, raising her kids, managing her business, and simply moving through each day, became a challenge. She had to learn how to navigate the lasting effects of post-concussion symptoms while rediscovering her own limits. Out of that struggle, a new mission emerged, launching groundbreaking research into the female brain and concussions, turning personal trauma into a journey that could help countless others. This is a story about courage, perseverance, and the power of turning life's hardest moments into purpose. Welcome to another episode of the Leslie Hawkins podcast. I am so grateful that you are here, and I would like to introduce our guest today, Jocelyn Pepe. So Jocelyn is a mental health researcher and coach. She is founder of True, which is an organization that is designed to support executive and team well-being. And she is the author of Claim Your Brain. So Jocelyn, honestly, welcome. So glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks, Leslie, for having me. I'm excited for our chat today.
It'll be a great conversation. So you and I actually don't know each other very well, but we met through Be Uninterrupted, which is a women's network that brings executive and professional women together to help manage through all of the interruptions that we have in life. And it seems incredibly appropriate given that this podcast is all about pivotal moments. So I'm glad you're here.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So the podcast is all built on one question, which is, what is one pivotal moment in your life? And honestly, the reason that I chose that question was because, one, I think everyone's got a great story. There's so many stories out there because we all go through all of these multiple pivots, and some are in our control and some not so much. And it can feel isolating, I think, when you're going through a pivot, depending on how major it is. And my hope is through this podcast, I can give a platform for people like you to tell your story, to help others who are maybe going through something similar, or that they can relate, so that there's less of a sense of loneliness and that I'm the only one and nobody understands what I'm going through. So that's why it's built this way. So let me ask you, Jocelyn, what is one pivotal moment in your life?
So I've had a few.
Yes.
As the book will describe.
Yes,
I've had a
exactly.
few pivotal moments in my life. And the one that stands out the most to share and talk about today is having a traumatic brain injury 4.5 years ago. And so the first pivotal moment was a divorce, navigating a divorce with 3 young kids. And so out of that, I went to sport and I went to triathlon in order to find meditative space, in order to claim my own brain, in order to heal. And through movement, I was processing. And so what happened was, one day I was out early because we're riding before the sun rises to beat the traffic. One day we were out riding early. And when I was training, I had never thought of this as, oh, I'm going to hit a podium, or, I'm going to be a winner, or I'm going to race. I always just thought of it as exercise and a way to accomplish something.
Yes.
But I started to get the taste of success with training. And because I am athletic and I was a swimmer growing up, so it was really becoming a place where I could stretch myself, I could push myself, I could test myself. And I was training for an Olympic distance triathlon, which is there's sprint, Olympic, and then there's half Ironman and Ironman. And so the Olympic is a mid distance, which was where I really enjoyed it. And I was one away from podium in my last race. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to give it a try and see if I can make it, especially for women of my age group. And so that felt really interesting. But one fine day in the spring, I was training, and in the tri bike, you're in an aero position. So there's no brakes when you're leaning down. And I didn't have access to the brakes, and a situation came up where I really needed to stop quickly. And I don't remember a thing past the moment where I thought I'm going to crash. My brain absolutely blacked out. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up being put on a flat board with my neck immobilized, with ambulance attendants making sure that I was okay. And all I could think and all I remember was willing myself awake.
Okay.
Wiggling my fingers, wiggling my toes. And the only question I kept asking was, am I okay?
Right.
And the people around me were like, yes, you're okay. You're missing a few teeth. And then I started to cry. I'm like, oh my goodness, what actually has happened here?
What's happened?
Yeah. And so that was the pivotal moment that has actually changed my life in a way that I had never anticipated a change.
Okay. So if we go back to before the accident, through sport, that was how you were managing the mental toll. Many people I know, they stick to running or yoga or Pilates. Why triathlons? Then what's mid-range or Olympic? Like,
okay, so I was a swimmer growing up, and I thought, and I loved biking. So I grew up in Niagara on the Lake, and there's a bike path from Niagara on the Lake to Niagara Falls. Yes. I would bike that every day, even as a teenager. Biking was my place of solace at that time as well.
Okay.
And so it was the running I didn't like. And at the time when I decided to get into triathlon, I thought, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to challenge my mind to like running.
Okay.
And I did start to like running. I really started to enjoy it.
Okay.
Because I wasn't a runner, I always thought triathlon would be a good spot for me because I had the bookends of swimming and biking, and I could manage the running. And so that felt like the place where I could challenge myself. My very first triathlon, I did it with a group of women who were friends of mine, and then that became a community as well. Right. And I had a really dear friend. Her and I used to go biking, and actually we came up near you. We used to come park at a school and ride all the way up to Lake Simcoe and back. And my very first ride, I rode that on a mountain bike with her, and she had a perfectly beautiful tri-bike. Yeah. But I was determined, and it just felt like a place, and her and I would chat along the way and talk about things. So it was a place of mental clarity and mental cleansing, but also community.
Yes.
So that's why I got into triathlon. And the second part of your question, that distance, I had started with sprint, which was the shortest distance. So there's tri, which is smaller than sprint. There's sprint, then there's Olympic, half Ironman, and Ironman. Okay. And I did the sprint distance one summer because I wanted to step up from, or I did the Olympic because I wanted to step up from the sprint distance. And I really got into my groove on each discipline, and I felt like that is where I had the opportunity, and it is where I came in fourth in my age group. And I thought, oh, next year I'm going to go and I'm going to get third. Right. And so that was my just next step, next goal, next step out of my comfort zone.
Okay. And so how long is the bike and the run and the swim? Or is it even in that order?
It's swim, bike, run.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think about the distances now. I forget.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember in my brain
swim,
the distances.
Bike, run. So you end on the discipline that isn't your core.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a really good challenge.
But because the swimming was my discipline, I was almost always one of the first females out of the water.
Right.
And that was motivating to me. And so every time I just worked to get to the next phase of the biking or the running
Yes.
and improve my time slowly but surely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you have an accident, and was somebody with you?
Yes, I was training with my partner.
Okay.
And I was unconscious. So I was unconscious for probably at least 10 minutes.
Ooh.
And just long enough for the ambulance to get there.
Okay.
There was also another rider that was on that same road, and he said he witnessed what happened, but had no idea. I was braking to avoid a collision with the rider in front of me, and I think at the same time, wind had pushed me forward, and I got too close.
Okay.
So I don't even know if our tires touched, but that's always the challenge.
Okay.
And so it was a windy day, so I was trying to draft behind, but I was drafting too close.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's what happened in that moment. And then from there on, it's been an incredible journey.
Okay. So you wake up and you're on the flat board.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does the next step look like? I'm sure you wake up in hospital. Is there surgery? And what's your recovery like?
So the next step was going in the ambulance to the hospital. I was missing my teeth. I had hit my head first. So my helmet protected my skull.
Yes.
Which was great, but the side of my face hit the ground. So my whole jaw had been pushed over. It was incredible swelling. I couldn't even open my mouth. When I got home that day, I couldn't even open my mouth wide enough to get a straw in my mouth. I had to really try to do that. So what happened in the hospital was they were really making sure my brain wasn't bleeding.
Correct.
Yeah. So I had an MRI. They monitored me, made sure that I was okay. And then they sent me on my way in the very same day, literally teeth exposed. And so we had to find a dentist who could actually paint the nerves on my teeth to make sure until I could get my teeth repaired that I wasn't in any type of exposed nerve damage.
Yes.
But I was able to keep part of my tooth. So I just had to get a little bit of a repair. It wasn't like the whole tooth was gone or the whole nerve was dead. So that was good news. Mm-hmm. I had no idea when they sent me home from the hospital what was coming next, though. That was the part.
Incredible that you went home same day.
Yeah.
I now understand, but my assumption would be you were in hospital for at least a week.
No,
not at all.
Same day.
My
brain wasn't bleeding. Wow. MRI came back clear, and the next, I had to piece it all together from there. Right. The healing journey has been wildly complicated. There is not one place you go to say, I have a concussion, a brain injury. So just piecing everything together from that point on. Coming home from the hospital, the very next day, I couldn't even go for a walk. My whole nervous system had been programmed into fear. So some type of PTSD.
Yes.
That I was actually afraid to go for a walk without holding on to somebody. Wow. So there was something that happened in my brain and my nervous system that triggered this
just full shutdown.
Physical trauma response.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, but you're sitting here today.
I am.
Thankfully.
Yes.
So what does that journey look like as you, the first day, try to go for a walk with somebody, and there's the physical, but I'm really interested in the mental part as well. Mm-hmm. The idea of just getting out of bed every day, not even talking about going for a run or stepping on getting on a bike must have been incredibly difficult. Mm-hmm.
So I worked with a physiotherapy clinic in the concussion recovery protocol. And I was familiar with it because my son played hockey and he had a couple of concussions. So I knew what to do in that regard. Because concussion study in the brain protocol has been changing so rapidly, the information at the time was get back into your sport, your activity, your real life
Okay.
as soon as possible, but don't stretch yourself. So
Okay.
then they're leaving it up to your own vices to decide what's too much or not too much. And here I am, an overachiever, a winning mindset.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm gonna win this recovery. Like,
yes.
So I, did that too quickly.
Okay.
And so that became a whole journey in and of itself. But in that, they wanted me to get back on the bike. So I did.
Wow.
I got back on a road bike and I went for bike rides around my neighborhood. And I've since sold my tri bike and I have since sold my road bike. I only will bike now on a path, on a fat bike, on a mountain bike that's, a railroad, like a train, a rail trail or something like that. So I do bike in that way, but nothing to the extent that I used to. And because I've experienced so much neck damage in my nerves, and I think that's the part that I'm just starting to even learn more about, is that damage was such a significant impact. Aside from the brain damage, it was really the nerve damage in my neck. I can't run anymore because that jarring exercise or activity aggravates everything. And so now I'm just walking. Okay. I was doing yoga, but I can't because the pressure on the shoulder.
Yes.
So there's a lot that's had to change. And in those post days, all I kept saying to everybody was, I literally just feel like I'm existing. And that was really uncomfortable for me when you were asking about the mental piece.
Yeah. You're a high achiever.
Yeah, I was pushing myself so hard. Like the push, I still have to manage the push part of my mentality, but to feel like you're just existing was devastating.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have so much I want to do. I have so much I want to accomplish. I have so much I want to experience. I have so much to give. But all of that had to come back and a reset, a new way of looking at life.
Okay. So before the accident, your life was busy as a mom. You were running around with kids. You were running your own business. And so you were always on. Plus you're, competing with yourself of trying to be better and better. After the accident, how do you move from existing to where you are today? How different your life is?
It's different, and I have to talk to myself a lot.
Okay.
I really have to reprogram myself and be conscious of where I'm saying yes to things, where I am spending my energy, because we all have capacity limits. But when you have a brain injury, you hear it differently. Okay. So there's more of a tuned in nature to what's happening in your body because it can't have the same capacity. So it's similar to people navigating burnout. Your brain is over capacity. Your nervous system is over capacity. I'm feeling it at a deeper level because of the way that my head hit and the way that I'm navigating just post-concussion syndrome and also chronic pain from the whiplash piece of it.
Okay.
And that's part of the journey that I've been exploring lately is women's brains specifically. And so women's brains are more sensitive to stress. So any type of stress, that includes this type of a hit. Women's necks aren't as strong typically as men's. So when there is whiplash or concussion, that is more exaggerated. And that's why we experience concussion at a more severe level. So for any female athletes or women in general, however concussion is happening, there's real scientific research coming to the table to talk about the why we experience it differently. And also women are differently impacted based on their hormonal cycles. So the chemicals in their brain at the time of hit impacts. There's so many nuances to brain health that I'm learning and uncovering. So it's been interesting. So when you ask about from that moment of just existing to where I am today, I started my journey in mental health.
Yes.
And my journey is now evolving into brain health as well and the neuroscience of our brain and our body. And my purpose was very clear to me when I started my business that I was going to have a positive impact on the quality of life of humanity through the mental health conversation. And now it's evolved into the brain health conversation because we are at a crossroads in life where our brains are really being challenged. And I've put my experiential learning to good use so that I can support and help other people.
Wow. Okay. Where in your journey did you write the book?
So I just published the book in May.
Okay.
And I did it in May because it's Mental Health Month.
Yes.
And Mother's Day.
Yes. Okay.
So there's not a lot of conversation about mothers navigating mental health. And I think that that's a really important conversation because of the load mothers carry. From a physiological, biological perspective, things change for us as soon as we're birthing babies, but also because we are life givers, our brains and our bodies are programmed and wired differently.
Yes.
And so that's why I published it in that month. It took 1 year from start to finish when I decided I wanted to put the knowledge and research I had after my master's into a book and share it more globally with the world.
Yes. Okay. So after the accident, you come home and how do you move from existing to I'm a mother? Because you had 3 young children at that point. I cannot imagine the toll on them as well. And the toll on you as a mom, because our job has always been, well, I'm going to look after my kids first. I mean, we're our own worst enemy, that we always take care of others versus before ourselves. So how did you navigate all of that?
Yeah, it was really hard. And I only look at it now in hindsight because at the time I just did what I could.
Yes.
The days of multitasking, so the days of working out, working, being a mom in all the realms, and then also being a mom to athletes in competitive sport where they need to be driven around all over the place. I could not do those things all together in one day any longer.
Okay.
So I had to choose. Am I going to work? Am I going to work out? Or am I going to drive my kids around?
Yes.
And which is the priority? And because I'm divorced, I would choose the kids on the times that I had them. And when I didn't have them, I would choose the work or the walk.
Yes. Yes.
And I would only do it as far as I could. So when we were talking about being interrupted, that's why the community resonated so deeply with me, because I've had multiple interruptions, but this one was a significant interruption to my ability and capacity to earn, because it's based on my brain and my contribution in the world. And so I had to be okay with going a little bit slower, even though that was really hard. To navigate the mental health component of that, like going from scarcity mindset into it's all going to work out. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
I'm safe, and working through that. So it was, I had to choose one thing. And even to take my son to hockey, hockey arenas are bright lights, they're fluorescent. I'd have to wear sunglasses, stand behind the glass, close my eyes, whatever the different things were, because the glare off the ice even challenged me. And that PTSD that I talked about earlier around going for a walk and that fear of falling, that stayed with me until last year when I couldn't comfortably drive over any of the skyways, like bridges.
Oh, yes.
Because I had this irrational fear that I was going to fall off the edge of the skyway driving over it. I would be like white knuckling over top. And it's decreased now, which is really lovely. But that's only happened within the last year. So the brain was protecting me in some way of falling that just felt so weird and hard to understand. But that's what the brain and the nervous system do. They're built for protection.
Correct. Exactly. That's incredible. How did your kids react to all of this? And because there's a huge impact on them as well. And part of their thing is protecting their mom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Somebody else asked me this question very recently, and I think I'd have to have a conversation with them because I was visibly very banged up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My whole face was blue. My eye was bloodshot. My jaw was out here. But I think luckily they were at ages where they were in their own little worlds, navigating their own things.
Okay.
My littlest one, she made a card like, "Are you okay?" So there was a deep level of concern there.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't know if I did the right thing in hindsight by just kind of trying to power through a little bit and not make a big deal about it. And because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't make a big deal about it. I powered through as best as I could. I didn't talk about it all that much with them specifically. I've talked about it a lot everywhere else because I want people to recognize the impact that brain injury can have, especially on a female brain. And also because my son had had a couple of concussions, there was an extra motivation to explore the brain health piece of it. So to answer your question, I don't honestly know. And I don't know if I approached it in the right way. And I did what I did just to keep going and be strong. And I think that's a conversation in and of itself. When you were talking about moms and our natural caregiving instinct, I didn't make it about me. I just continued to make it about taking care of them and what did they need and how was I going to resource myself in order to accomplish that.
Right. Yes. Yeah, we're very good at doing that. So as you look back over your journey, you have learned a lot about yourself. But what do you think that your kids have learned through this whole process?
I love that question. And I feel like what this experience has demonstrated is resiliency. And that no matter what the setback, whether it's our mental health, family separating, a head injury, that there's resilience. And that is what I've always wanted to teach them. I've always wanted to show and demonstrate and model that we're strong. And when there's an emotional setback, a mental setback, a physical setback, when we give our body the right conditions to heal, it will do just that. When you put a broken bone in a cast, it heals. When you give your brain, your nervous system, your mind the right conditions, the right environment, the right relationships, the right nourishment, we are resilient. We are deeply, deeply resilient. And it just takes conscious intention to take care of ourselves in that way. And so I hope for my children, I have modeled when life gets you down, you get back up, you give yourself the right conditions to heal, and you keep moving forward.
Right. And keep moving forward doesn't mean you power through and don't listen.
That's right.
The part of the key is that you actually do slow down and that your body will tell you what it needs or what it doesn't need. And it's about the ability to actually listen.
Yes. And ask your body just that. What do you need right now? We're not even slowing down enough in life to do that.
I mean, the element of powering through and I'll just figure it out and I'm going to focus on the kids. It's what many women do. But at some point you did have an opportunity to focus on you and to get better or heal yourself or give yourself time to heal. But that feeling of that fear of falling, I can only imagine the amount of fear that came out of that. And how do you now continue to walk through life managing that fear or even acknowledging it and then learning to manage it?
Yeah, this is interesting because I actually had this conversation this weekend about being in a fear mindset. And I spent a lot of my life in that state, self-protection and fear from other things. This took it to a whole nother level. And I see it manifesting in humanity right now, actually, is this, we're operating out of fear all over the place, and it's not healthy. It's not good for us. It's high stress, which is detrimental to high joy and high life and longevity. But the fear part, what was your question again?
How did you manage to deal with the fear?
Yeah.
And keep moving?
So a lot of the tools and resources in the book. So when I started to focus on, that was the mental piece. So talking myself through different scenarios, reminding myself that I was safe and okay, but also regulating my nervous system through my relationship to myself. So less push, more trust. As a high achiever, I was pushing myself hard and pushing myself to all these expectations that I had.
Yeah.
So I had to stop doing that. So there was more compassion and more self-respect. So that would be one. Taking care of my brain and my body from a physical perspective. So now it was more walking, way more sleeping and resting, and just allowing my body to roll with an alarm clock, or my natural alarm clock. And the body really is fantastic because I don't need an alarm clock anymore because I allowed it to get the amount of sleep that my brain and my body needed post-concussion. So there was the sleep aspect. There was the eating aspect. So what was I doing to nourish my brain? I completely cut out alcohol, so I don't drink anymore because the neurotoxic effects of it. And I wasn't recovering. So I kept thinking there's got to be ways. So I just kept finding the next thing. So a whole foods diet, no more alcohol, a lot more sleep. What else? And the emotional piece, just like really doing the nervous system work to regulate my emotions and how I was feeling and listen to my body. That's one of the pieces of work that I bring in when I am working in organizations, is how often are we really truly tuning in to ask our body what it's telling us? Because most of us are bypassing that signal. And that's the signal we need to listen to.
And yet we don't.
Anybody. No.
Slowing
down to listen.
Yeah, it's easier to just push it aside and power through. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So through this whole process, you have probably learned a lot about yourself. And beyond what you've learned about yourself, what have you learned about your community and those around you as well?
Well, first of all, I have an incredible community. And so part of the reason I wanted to write the book and put everything into something accessible was because not everybody has family and community. And so that's why the book felt really tangible and accessible for all folks. And so that was one. So that's what I learned. I can lean on my community, even though I don't like to ask for help. That's
a whole other podcast, because that's another common issue.
So I've learned to ask for help. I've learned to let go. Let go of control. Trying to control everything takes and consumes a lot of energy. And so I've learned to let go of that. And I've created beautiful community, through these experiences. And I would never have had that opportunity. So for us to meet be uninterrupted, for me to feel aligned to go there because of so many career interruptions and looking for a community of women to support one another. I just feel like it's led me on this beautiful path of connecting, alignment within myself, something deeper. I was already on purpose in mental health, and now I'm even more on purpose. And so I wake up every day with like that level of motivation that I want to connect and support community and support family and friends too.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So my last question is, for those that are running through life, doing what you previously would have done, which is just power through, what are your words of wisdom for the audience?
Stop. Like, I envision a stop sign. We don't run through a stop sign. What happens when we do that?
We hit somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody hits us.
Yeah.
and there's trauma involved in that. So if we're not stopping and acknowledging that stop sign of life and blowing right by it, the universe will slow you down. It will slow you down, and your choice to speed up and go faster or slow down will be taken from you. So if there's one message that I can deliver today to anybody, it's slow down.
Yeah.
Stop. Ask your body, what's truly driving you? Are you pushing yourself because you want to achieve, accelerate, get the job title, the next level, the whatever? But if you don't, the universe will take away the choice for you.
Yeah. And while the universe did that for you, you are thriving. It's amazing that you have been here. I'm excited to read your book, so thank you. I will make sure to put a link to your book on the bio of this podcast. But your vulnerability and honesty here in you telling your story, I think is incredibly powerful. I am massively grateful for you coming and telling your story, because I think it's a really important message. And while over the last 5 years, particularly since the pandemic, there has been this conversation of mental health and the importance of mental health, it's become a bit of a buzzword. And I think your message of just stop before the universe stops it for you, I think will absolutely resonate. I think it's incredibly important message right now. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. This has been incredible.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really nice to have this connection.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this story resonated and gave you something to reflect on. If it did, please share it with someone you care about, and be sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear more pivotal stories involving one question, one turning point, one powerful story. Join me next week with another guest on the Leslie Hawkins podcast.